Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel, I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us in the challenge and get access to an exclusive in-depth strategy video, information is available in the description below. In the previous video, we looked at MMTLP and what it means for NextBridge to be a private company. We're going to follow on that today by looking at some of the advantages of being a C corporation. We're also going to be looking at some FUD and a response from George. In the previous video, we also looked at HDK with regard to a deep dive, so please refer back to the previous video. So before we make a start on today's stocks, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets. There was some important news today. So on the screen here, you'll see the US has now declared monkeypox a national health emergency. So this is very significant news. So the United States Health Secretary Javier Becerra declared monkeypox a national health emergency. What this basically means is stocks, especially in the monkeypox area, are going to make significant gains. So I'm going to give a shout out here to the watch list here prior to trading on the Monday. If you have a look at what I stated here, third line down, I said monkeypox plays could make some positive new moves this week, and we will continue to watch SIGA and GOVX. So let's have a look at how the markets reacted. So first of all, I'm going to have a look at ticker symbol SIGA. So if you see here, as soon as the news broke around about 5 p.m. UK time, the stock did shoot up from around about around about $17.50 all the way up at one point, trading in excess of $20.50. So right now, time of editing, up in excess of 7% at $19.60. So congratulations to everybody who got in SIGA, but the one that's done exceptionally well, I know again another one that we called out in the watch list is ticker symbol GOVX, also known as GeoVax Labs. And again, similar time when the news broke, it was trading around about $2.40, lots of green candles, huge volume, and we can see the 250-day moving averages both spiking up at the same time. RSA also touching in excess of 80, and right now up in excess of 25% at $3.43. Those of you who've been following the channel will know that in the focus of some of the previous videos has been challenging FUD, destroying FUD and dealing with FUD with regards to evidence. So the good news here is George is also now getting into the action. So shout out to George here, who's just posted yesterday 11:38 p.m. UK time. And what he said here is there are a few trolls around and a lot of them talk about a reverse split. For the record, as long as I am the CEO of the company, there will not be any reverse split, due to the company being below $1. As far as he's concerned, right now he thinks it's the cheapest our stock has ever been on the Nasdaq, thanks to market conditions. I'm not sure I agree if it's purely market conditions, but you can decide what you would like to do with your investments and your votes on the next AGM. So that's coming up fairly soon. It's known that June 2021, the reverse split was a requirement by Nasdaq. So again, that did catch a lot of people out by surprise, because it wasn't stated before obviously all the talk of merger was taking place, but he's put that in a capital. So he's shouting at everybody here saying it's not him, it's a requirement by Nasdaq. I think some of the investors would have hoped that this was disclosed before, not after. So due to compliance of new listings, we're about to release our quarterly results. So I apologize having to tell you this, but even trolls should know that we are in a blackout and no insider can currently trade until after the results are out. So that is correct, because obviously they would be guilty of insider trading, especially if they know the results are going to be very, very extremely positive or even negative. They would have be able to get a financial gain. So historically, buy or add to my position every chance I'm allowed, and continue to do so. And we are working incredibly hard. Look forward to sharing updates next week. Thank you in advance to those who will dial in and listen. Appreciate your support, GP. So from a personal point of view, many of you will know that I have called out George on a number of occasions. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it is fair and proper to call out George when it comes to constructive criticism. However, I have got a negative comment from one of the people in the comments, and he's now said on the screen here, so now you're back in George's camp after he lied about that presentation. So I'm not actually in George's camp, but I think what I do believe in, as far as I'm concerned, I'm in the camp of Meta. I believe in Meta. And from my point of view, George works for us, George works for the shareholders, George is accountable for us, to us, and as far as I'm concerned, I think we need to give George credit when he does something positive, and we also should be able to give him criticism when he doesn't. So my response here was, obviously I'm on the side of Meta. I've called George many times out in the past. People might not like that, but I will continue to do so. But on this occasion and on today, what George has posted, I am with George, and I think George, again, reminder, works for the shareholders. We pay his wages, and I think it is fair and proper to criticise him, especially if you're not happy with any of the decisions. I am aware many of the investors are quite angry and have lost significant amounts of money, so I think it is fair to ask questions. So what now I'd like to do is continue with the previous video with regard to the benefits of a C corporation. So remember, in my opinion, NextBridge is going to be spun out into a private company. This private company will go under the classification C corporation. In the previous video, I explained what that means. So let's now have a look at some of the benefits and what the good points are with regard to this. So in terms of personal liability of directors, shareholders, employees and officers, it's similar with other limited companies. The legal obligations of the business cannot become a personal debt. So obviously that basically means you're only risking your investment again, not your personal assets. So C corporation may have many owners and shareholders. There will be many thousands of shareholders, and everybody who is holding MMTLP will be an owner of NextBridge. However, it's also required to register with the SEC upon completion of certain thresholds. The ability to offer shares of stocks allows the business to obtain large amounts of capital, which may fund new projects and future expansion. So that's good news in terms of it should be able to be sold more easily. So the next thing on the screen here, again, this is interesting with regard to NextBridge and a potential sale to hopefully an energy company, hopefully an oil company. If you see here, C corporations are more attractive to investors. So the reason why this is positive is because if it was on the OTC, the share price would have been hammered, the shorts would have attacked it. Private company, they can't do that. So it's much easier, much better for an oil company or an energy company to buy a C corporation. So let's have a look at that. The advantage of C corporation over an S corporation, it is much easier to attract investors, including operating capital through equity financing. So this is one of the reasons why they may be doing that. So venture capitalists prefer to invest in C corporations, and many venture capitalists cannot invest in S corporations because of some restrictions. So this is good news. It may also be easier for the corporation to obtain bank financing. This factor can be especially important for capital intensive businesses. So obviously the business is going to require financing going forward, because obviously there's going to be huge amounts of costs and expenses, as well as some liabilities. And the other benefit here is no restrictions are placed on shareholders. So what that basically means, there can be an unlimited amount of shareholders, and obviously there will be tax laws, but right now, in terms of the tax implications, that's not something I'm worrying about, because the company will not be paying tax due to no revenue. I've also been asked by a number of people in the comments to provide an update for Netlist, as there was some news, so I'm going to do that now. So good news here, headline here from AccessWire, August the 3rd. I'm sure many of you people will be aware of this. And what we can see here is Netlist receives a favourable order against Samsung in the US District Court. So as far as I'm concerned, this is also a very good sign, very good signal for a potential success, and obviously final outcome with Google as well. But let's have a look let's focus on this here first of all. So obviously we can see there was an announcement that the United States District Court for the District of Delaware issued an order granting in part Netlist's motion for dismissing Samsung's first amended complaint and denying their request to file a second amended complaint. So let's now have a look at what this basically means. So the court has issued a written opinion supporting the order and dismissing Samsung's counts 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 in the case. So the partial dismissal basically means Samsung cannot pursue a separate action on the patents Netlist first asserted in Texas. They cannot carry out the alleged obligation to protect Google from the 912 patent in Delaware. So this is obviously good news in connection with the Google case as well. So Samsung has now voluntarily withdrew a motion to serve and stay the case that Netlist brought. So this is good news. So separately, following on from the order, Netlist also filed a complaint against Samsung in the Eastern District of Texas for Samsung's infringement of the 912 patent. And final update I'd like to share with you is with regard to earnings. So earnings were also released on August the 2nd, 2022. So let's have a look at, first of all, a summary of the earnings. So on the screen here, you'll be able to see in terms of their earnings at the top here that were recently released. These are for the second quarter. Good news here, net product sales more than doubled. So this is a reflection of revenue. So we're looking at $55.4 million compared to $24.4 million. So an increase well in excess of 100% there. So product gross profit dollars increased by 66%. The gross profit was $4.7 million compared to $2.9 million for the last year's quarter. So again, exceptional news here and positive news going forward for the company, especially from the point of view of growth. And the final thing I want to focus on is the balance sheet. So at the bottom here, what we can see is with regard to cash and cash equivalents and also restricted cash, this was approximately $60.6 million. Total assets amounted to around about $99.6 million. Working capital, $46.3 million. So obviously the company is extremely liquid. Debt is only $8.2 million. So the company has a very healthy balance sheet, and going forward, they have strong growth in revenue. And all of this is taking place without actually settlements in Samsung and without settlements in Google. Those settlements are due. Those are going to come very, very soon. Obviously, there was a delay in the outcome for the Google case. I expect that delay to not be delayed again, and fingers crossed, hopefully we will get a positive outcome. Finally, if anybody would like to join us in the challenge or get access to our daily stock alerts as well as our weekly watch list, you can join the Discord for as little as $9 a month. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.